Hi, I'm Jacob Gallucci, and I have a story today that's really just dark and just scary, but I'll share it with you right now. Believe it or not, I almost died almost 4 years ago. It was on Saturday, May 16th, 2009. I was in a car accident that day. I was driving my dad's car, and it was scary, but here's what happened. I was driving it that day, and I ended up going to Culver's, at the fast food restaurant. I went to the one that's on Ogden Avenue between Harlem and First Avenue. It's closer to First Avenue, though, but I went to that one, and it's right near Brookfield Zoo, and I went there, and when I ate, I had a burger, fries, and I think a concrete as well, but after I ate there, I drove around for a little bit. I took Harlem Avenue back. I drove on Ogden and I took Harlem back all the way north to like by O'Hare Airport, and then I drove down Harlem, and there's a lot of cool things on Harlem along the way, but eventually I ended up at Harlem and all the way north by like Higgins Road where the Kennedy's at, and then I got on the Kennedy from there, and I figured I wanted to get home more quickly, and so I took the express lane back. I got on the express lane from there, and I was driving in the express lane, and well, I was driving my dad's car. It was a 1999 black Ford Taurus, and when I got to about Irving Park and Pulaski, the blue line's right there, the CTA blue line, and there's a metro stop that's right near there as well. I was driving, and then I was going to switch lanes, but then this red car came out of nowhere, and then I swerved out of the way very quickly, and then I started panicking, and my car was spinning around, and I was screaming like a madman. I was like, ah, ah. I was screaming really loud. I was terrified. I spun around like probably 4 or 5 times, and the car didn't flip over, no, but I just spun around, and I was screaming like a madman, and then eventually I hit a wall, and the car crashed, and I really thought at that point that I was dead. I was convinced that I was dead. My glasses were broken a little bit on the bottom, and it was just weird and terrifying, very terrifying. The airbag had gone off and it knocked my glasses off, and there was smoke coming from the car, and not smoke, but yeah, actually it was smoke, and the car was smashed and it was totaled. It was gone, but miraculously I survived. I didn't have any broken bones from it, or any brain damage, or any fatal accidents or anything. I was perfectly fine. I was just a little sore. That's all. I was a little sore, and I was sore for like about a week after that. But by the week after that, I was fine. It was almost as if nothing had happened. But it was just a weird experience, and the car was just totaled. But miraculously, I survived, and it was just weird. And I called my dad. I told him, to pick me up and everything, and then they eventually towed the car, and an ambulance came and asked if I wanted medical attention. I said no. I was fine. I had no broken bones, no brain damage, or I wasn't bleeding at all. It was just weird. I mean, I was perfectly fine. It was a miracle that I survived that. I mean, it was scary. That car was gone. It was totaled, but eventually my dad got a new car a month later. It's a 2009 Honda Accord. He still has it today. It's a black Honda Accord. It's a nice car, and it was just a scary experience. And I remember after I crashed, there were pieces of the car all over the road, and the bumper was a little bit away from there, and this one guy stopped and picked it up for me and helped me out. And I remember he was a young Hispanic guy, and he was with his wife or girlfriend. I'm really not sure, and I think there were at least 1 or 2 kids in the car. I never got his name or her name or any of their names, but it was great of him. It was really nice of him that he helped me get my bumper back, and there were other pieces of the car too, and it was terrifying. And I was really far from home. I live near like Taylor Street, the Little Italy area. I was miles from home, but my dad eventually came and picked me up. My mom, um, I saw my mom later in the day. She was working that day, and I saw her later in the day, and my parents asked if I was okay. I said, "Yeah, I'm fine," and I was glad that I'm alive. You know, it was just terrifying. It was just so weird. I was driving, and then all of a sudden, I just lost control, and this guy came out of nowhere, and I'm just glad that I'm here to that I lived to tell about it. I mean, I think by the time everybody's 30, everybody has at least one or two near-death experiences by then. This was my near-death experience. Can you imagine if there were people in the car with me? I was the only one in the car. What if my dad was in the car, or my mom, or friends of mine? It's a miracle that I was the only one in the car, because if other people were in the car, I'm convinced they would have gotten hurt. The damage was bad everywhere but in the driver's seat. I was in the driver's seat, and there was almost no damage there, and I survived. I'm just glad I survived, and I thank God every day that I'm still here. Some people aren't as fortunate, you know, after car accidents like that. But sorry for such a dark and scary story, but something I had to share with you, and I still think about it from time to time. I mean, since then I've only driven about 10 times or so. A light just hit me that day after I had the accident. I was like, why am I driving for? I mean, I live in Chicago. I could take the L, you know, the L train, or a bus. I could take that anytime I want, or I could take a cab, or if I want to go to the suburbs, I could take Metro. I mean, there's no point in driving anyway. It's just my opinion now. I mean, it's too expensive, you know, for gas and for maintenance of the car. It's not worth the hassle. Parking's a pain in the ass. It's the price of parking has gone way up, and I don't like to drive. I really don't. I prefer to just commute. It's just you save so much money commuting, and just driving. You know, I don't mind driving. I would just prefer to commute. But anyway, I'm sorry for rambling, but I'll be back tomorrow with two new videos, and I promise they'll be a lot more upbeat and positive. All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care.